Welcome into Extra Time. Thank you very much for your tweets. What are you doing with your chair?
You know, you can loosen them a little bit and they go all the way back.
Yeah, did you loosen it too much?
No.
Oh, you like that? You meant for that to happen?
Oh.
Who's under more pressure, Brian, to deliver this season?
What was that film where the old women sat in the rocking chair?
Right.
What was that film?
Waiting on here.
Psycho.
The old women sat in the rocking chair like that.
Wow.
Remember that, no?
Ooh. Bit scary. Bit scary for me. I've never seen Psycho.
Well,
who's under more pressure?
you're sensitive.
Unai, I am. I don't like horror films.
Yes, I know.
Oh. Unai Emery, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Lampard?
Lampard's definitely not, just because of the transfer ban.
Got a pass?
Yeah, he gets a pass. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's.
Yep.
I do. As much as I don't think Unai Emery's made Arsenal any better. Some decision making. I mean, how Torreira is not where Xhaka is, Granit Xhaka is, and Xhaka's on the bench. I don't know.
He's captain.
I know. It shocks me. But I do think, Solskjaer's definitely the one that would probably go first if they can't right the ship.
Next question is for Peter, who is still in his cupboard. My question is, why hasn't the law for a player being substitute having to leave the field of play at the nearest point on the boundary line implemented strictly? They still do that long walk to the fourth official, Peter.
Yes, it should be adhered to strictly, but there are times when perhaps it could be a security issue if the substituted player, has to walk past some rival fans or something. So instead of inciting bad behaviour, they may well take the long walk off the field, but it's something the authorities will be looking at for sure.
This is what we said last year when they announced this law change, that there are certain grounds, or a lot of grounds, where if you have to walk off, you're going to be subject to even more abuse. That's a bit of another one of those kind of silly rules. Sorry.
Why are you sorry?
I started answering, then I just got bored.
Yeah, well, I noticed. You just gave up on it.
Right, I noticed that. They keep walking off normally.
Yep.
And the ref comes over and says, come on, hurry up. And they go, oh yeah, I'm hurrying up. Why don't you they add 30 seconds on anyway for... I just got the next question.
For somebody who didn't want to answer, you kept going, though.
Gab, wouldn't it be better for international qualifiers to be held in the summer rather than during the season?
Sorry, just to say, even I found that question about the player walking off the pitch at the nearest point incredibly boring. And as you know, I like incredibly boring things like financial fair play.
Why is he answering it?
I don't know.
So, what was the question? No, I'm kidding. Why don't they play World Cup qualifiers over the summer? So, actually, there was a proposal a while back to switch most of you can't do all of it, but you can move most of qualifying to May and June and finish the season sooner in April. You can't really go much beyond that because players deserve the time off. And then ultimately was decided to abandon that simply for the simple reason that there's different climates in different parts of the world. There's leagues that play at different times, as you guys all know all too well. MLS plays right through the summer. So the thinking was that it would be too unwieldy to sort of pack 8, 10, 12 games into May and June. But personally, I think there is merit in it. It would need to be looked at, but from what I understand, in some parts of the world, particularly in Africa, it's extremely difficult to do logistically in terms of getting one team to another within a couple days.
For Peter, did you generally have the same assistants with you when you refereed, or do you have different assistants most of the time? And if you had different assistants, would you prefer to have the same assistants when you refereed?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a fair question, if it's because if you're with the same person, they get to know your traits, they get to know your tolerance levels, and vice versa. So it does work to have the same assistants. In the Premier League, what happens is you'd have probably 3 referees with 8 or so assistants. So you'd swap and change a little bit, but you'd always have that same pool of assistants to work with, and ultimately that worked very well. When you had an assistant who you hadn't worked with before, sometimes it takes you, unawares, and that synergy is not there. So it's good.
Takes you unawares.
Takes you unawares. Oh, is that? Oh.
What was it?
Oh, is that a flag you've got? Oh, don't get me.
What are you doing?
What are you doing getting dressed in black? Get in here, this man's got a whistle. Yeah, don't give me Walton this week. If you've got Walton, bring an extra yellow card.
There's
Peter, did you
no
used
need
to
to bring that one in,
Did you
Craig.
lord it over the linesman? Like, were
Did
they
I
not?
lord it over? No, we're all part of the same team. You know, they're an assistant referee, so you know you give them the due respect they deserve. But ultimately, if you got on with your assistants, it was far better than the person who you perhaps didn't like.
There you go. See?
There's probably some assistant referees that he didn't get along with, is what
You
I
can
could
imagine
gather.
him like
Yes.
in the deluxe suite in the hotel,
Yes,
and they're
then
down
yes,
the road.
Yes, next to the elevator.
Yeah, top and tailing it.
And the ice machine.
Yes. Final one. Did Peter ever come
time.
close to losing his cool on the pitch?
Oh, well, I've got to say, yes, I did. Yeah, I know, I shouldn't say this, but yeah, Southampton-Brighton, I hadn't had one of my better games, and I'd made a mistake early on in the game, and there was a particular player who kept reminding me of that fact every time I made a decision. And he was getting right up my nose, to be honest with you, and put me completely off my game. So, look, you know, I should have been above it, but I wasn't, and I fell for the trap, so it happens.
Now, we know Craig didn't play for Southampton or Brighton, so
But that's what players do.
who was it, Peter?
Well, I can't name and shame, but Craig would always try to get one over on me. But fortunately, you know, with the crowd as noisy as they are, I couldn't understand Craig at times when he got excited, so it was fine.
Well, he didn't have his teeth in at the time.
Tell you what,
To be fair.
Graham Paul used to get it.
Yeah.
Oh, Graham Paul used to get it.
So that was kind of part of the game as well, trying to
Part
get
of the
under the
stick.
referee's
Oh, yeah.
skin.
I had a very good relationship with a lot of the refs in England and in Scotland. Most of the refs I found would give you a little bit of chat back, and that was good. There was one or two. The ones that I didn't like were the ones who played the headmaster.
Right.
Don't talk to me.
Didn't have a relationship.
You know, because you can't. Most of the, I would say, 80-90% of the refs, you could give it a bit, and they would give it back, and it was fine. There's a few of them out there, in both north and south of the board that would have played, that just thought they were above you talking to them, and that really got up my nose. So I'd go for the
Did you
jugular.
go Spanish?
Yes, but I depended on referees quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
you try to butter them up.
I would be
send them a
friendly.
bouquet.
I mean, it would be great. During the coin toss, everything, I'm asking about their family. I really didn't care, but I was asking about their family. Let's take a picture. I mean, the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I saw that the calls were not coming my way, then I.
Remember, I asked about your daughter. I don't care about her cheerleading.
So there you go.
And you were just friendly when you, Brian. I can't imagine you.
Oh, if a ref made a mistake, and he thought it wasn't, he thought he made the right call, you would definitely, boy, you're not going to like that at halftime when you take a look at that. You got that one wrong. You're gonna have to take a look at that. The assessor's not going to like that.
Yep, that's a classic one.
You just try and make sure you get them back to thinking, all right, I better give one back, or maybe they're second guessing themselves. And
Yeah, if they blow a call, I remember there was a fight that broke out in one of the games, and referees over here on the side, and I'm like, this doesn't look good on anybody, including you. This doesn't look good on anybody.
Do you remember?
most part, you do try and keep them on your side.
Yeah.
And so, if you get a call against you, you just basically, like I would just say, okay, so it's going to be the same way the other way, right?
See, that's much. I imagine that's more polite than.
Do you remember, Pete? You remember Unai? You remember Uriah Rennie?
Yeah, I remember Uriah, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Uriah from Sheffield.
Uriah Rennie.
Had his own agent, by the way.
Did he?
There it is. There it is.
Well, he needed his own chaperone one day because Richard Goff, playing for Everton, dived in the and I knew Goffey, right? It was he came up for a set piece because he's a centre half, and somebody got hold of him and he fell over.
Right.
And Uriah Rennie gave the penalty kick. Well, that was it. Even if the ball was over there, and even if I had a midfield runner going past me there, I'm still looking for Uriah Rennie. And I chased him up the Goodison tunnel at half time, and then when we come out after the half time, I chased him back down the tunnel. Couldn't get it out of my head
Yeah.
because Goffey had done him,
Right.
and I knew it because I've seen it so many times, and he fell for it. and I couldn't get it out. I just couldn't get it out of my head. So I just roasted them.
Craig,
for the rest of the game. Yes, Gab.
wasn't Uriah Rennie like the size of a building and also a black belt in karate?
Well, yeah, but I was factoring in he was not going to hit me. With so many people around. Come on, hold me back, hold me back.
One of those jobs.
He was a big, strong guy. Remember, but.
Right, that is it. We're done. ESPNFC returns tomorrow. Sid Lowe will be here. Plus, there's some international. Italy are playing tomorrow, Gab.
Hey!
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.